Boy,
I think that's one of the only things we argued about.
Yeah, so like, but it would take her to the next emotional level.
You can't kill the dog.
Well, I'm not surprised that Jane wanted to kill the dog. That does not surprise me one bit. It doesn't. Oh man. So what even happened last night, guys? I mean, what was going on? Why were you guys up at like 3 a.m? Why was I up at 3 a.m?
Yeah, why were you up? I was sound asleep. They take
I was up, but nobody came and got me. So
we looked. I didn't see you act because I was grabbing anybody I knew who was active, so that I could just throw everybody online and we could have a late night with Spilling Ink.
And Rebecca sends me this note. You there? I got it this morning. I'm looking at it like 9 o'clock this morning. I'm like, she doesn't really know me that well. 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I'm dead to the world. 99.9% of the time. There's not 1%. And that was not last night.
In my defense, it was 11:30 when we started, so it wasn't that late.
Well, 11:30 Western time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Julia says that we aren't on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Let me check our channel.
It looks like we are.
Yes, it's live now.
Says we're live.
It's got a little delay too, right? So
there's always a little bit of a delay.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why I was up so late. It's like my Ambien didn't kick in right, and I couldn't fall asleep, and so I was just like wandering around the house. Everybody else is sleeping, and I opened the computer, and then you yahoos are on there talking. I'm like, what the hell? Well, it was probably only like midnight for you, but that was late for me. Oh goodness gracious! Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Spilling Ink. I am the Baldwin Bard. I should have added an EN. That would have rolled off my tongue better. And I am one of your beautiful hosts tonight. But I do want to say that this show is sponsored by Creative Edge Publicity. Creative Edge, your brand, your future. They are advocates of collaboration and believers in partnership in the ever-changing literary industry. Now, I know that sounded a little goofy, but we honestly do love Creative Edge. They are amazing. They've made it possible for us to have this great video platform and for us to have the audio podcast, which I did not update last week. Katie, I will update the audio podcast post-haste. But so we are very grateful that Creative Edge sponsors this show and makes it all possible. And we have got the dream team tonight. You can't get much better than Joe Compton and I. Really, you can't. The dream team right there. Joe, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, sir. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Well, we always love having you. I wish that Joe could be on every show with us. Actually,
he is the Godfather.
He is. He is. Yes. Now I'm picturing him like in Godfather 3, where he walks into the room and no, he didn't orchestrate that. The bad guy did, and then the helicopter comes in and shoots everybody or something like that.
Yeah.
Boy, it's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right. That was what happened.
He's the head of the In family.
You know what's funny too is like, so when I was looking at the vodkas, we were just talking about the different vodkas and stuff. So I was in the vodka aisle looking in for that espresso one. And they have a Don Corleone vodka. I almost got it. I almost got it just for the Godfather thing. And I was like, well, hopefully it tastes good, number one. But then I looked at the price and I was like, nah, it was $50. So
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, they have to send the profits straight back to Sicily. So
I guess, yeah. Talk about your rackets.
So did you guys all see my bare chest last night on the show?
I heard. I haven't watched the show, but I've heard.
Oh my Lord. I do not know.
I heard something about little nipples or something like that.
I have very small nipples. I do. Oh goodness. Well, guys, what are we going to talk about tonight? This is a bad group for being serious, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't think we need to be.
Well,
no, I think we're all going a bit crazy.
Yes.
How is everybody handling being locked at home?
Well, going to the grocery store to buy eggs was pretty much like a vacation. Like I actually looked forward to it. Something's not right.
Yeah, I was tempted, I say tempted, to do yard work today, which is is kind of a laughable thing, but I didn't. It was too cold. I went out, I'm like, oh, it's not sunny and it's kind of chilly. Like, have fun with the spreading the mulch. Bye.
Yeah, it's pouring rain here, so
Oh yeah.
I
It
can't.
started raining later.
I
But
was gonna start going out and doing like walks or little jog or something just to get some exercise, but it's pouring rain, so that didn't happen today. But
we actually had a couple of our neighbors, in the 6 feet radius circle, just standing at the road talking today. So it was like, oh, human interaction, face to face, 6 feet apart, but face to face.
somebody actually asked the person behind me in the supermarket what the blue tape meant, and the gal literally looked at him and goes, "Are you fucking serious?" Sorry for cursing, but
That's okay.
she's like,
Joseph.
are you serious? You don't know what's going on in our world right now?
Oh my gosh.
I swear people don't. There's a lot of acting like it's just vacation time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi Amanda, how are you? Do I know Amanda? Guys, has Amanda been on the show before? No. Katie, Jane.
My brain is fuzzy from all this
No.
staying inside.
Amanda, if you haven't been on the show before, I feel like you should come on the show because you always comment and we like you.
Mike, in every supermarket now they have 6 feet taped off so that because you have to be the whole thing for social distancing is 6 feet.
Yeah.
So they're tape on the floor. There's these little blue tapes that are on the floor and they're 6 feet apart. Apparently 6 feet apart. I don't think they're 6 feet apart. I think that's probably modest, but they have them all laid out like that in every supermarket line I've been in so far that has them. So
Now, Joe, you're in California, so you're in the most lockdown of all the states right now, as far as this group goes.
And I'm in the most affected county in California as well, Santa Clara
wow.
County. So more people have died here than any other place. So
At the supermarkets, do they have the glass enclosure for the checkout
Yes.
people? Yeah, my son was telling me about that because he works at the local grocery store here, and he said, yeah.
they have them at the 7-Elevens now too.
Yeah.
Most 7-Eleven clicks have them too.
And he's like, he can't touch the bags that people bring in. They have to bag their own stuff, and they can't touch the cards. They have gloves on now. So
That surprised me too, because we had that happen at our grocery store. The bagger looked at us and went, "I'm sorry, you have to bag your own groceries." That's quite all right. It's all good. No worries.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody's been so pleasant. Like all of the people working in the grocery stores, everybody's been so nice, so kind, so helpful. But you can tell the strain that they're under.
Oh yeah.
I stopped doing self-checkout just to go into the line. I'll wait a little bit longer because I think it's, I'm a big gratitude guy. And so anytime that I can give gratitude, I try my hardest to do that. And so when I will wait in a line that has an actual teller in it to just say thank you to them for being there and doing that.
Yeah. Everyone I've met while out has just been being so cool through all this, even though they're really, really stressed. I had to go to Best Buy today to pick up I hardwired the computer in. I remember talking to you guys about that last night while I was all ambient up, but I hardwired the computer in because I was getting such bad signal down here, and so I needed a little converter because it's a Mac. And so what you do with Best Buy is you order it online and then you drive up and then they come out and bring it to you and drop it in your car. But there's this huge line of people and these poor guys that work there trying to keep everything straight, trying to keep everything going, and they're being really pleasant about it. But you can just tell. I mean, they're working their asses off. I mean, all of these guys are.
Yeah, in the area where my daughter lives, there's a Best Buy, and my son and his girlfriend went there because she needed a headset to work remotely. They took their cell phone number, made them go wait in the car, and then text them when it was time to come in. They were only letting like 5 customers in at a time.
Wow.
So I was like, wow. And we're in Connecticut. So, where Joe is,
Yeah.
at least we're in northern Connecticut, not southern Connecticut.
Actually, in LA, they're doing that. They're only letting 10 in at a time, but they have them all lined up outside of the store, and they have security guards who are, it's like going into a club or a,
Mhm.
you feel
Yeah,
like
you have to get through the velvet line.
Well,
I'm waiting for that celebrity to try and break into the line in LA. Like the Beverly Hills Farmers Market or the Beverly Hills Whole Foods. He walks in. What? You don't know who I am? I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that news footage.
Combining that with Michael's comment right here, I'm thinking like velvet rope at Dollar Tree and
Yeah.
people getting ready to have a fist fight and not being let in.
What do you mean I'm not on the list?
Well, and we,
Bouncers letting the cute girls in, the ones that don't have the masks on.
we just learned today that Michigan has slid into 4th place. So we are the 4th most affected state by COVID. So that's something to be proud of. Yeah.
I'm behind.
It's like that old Parks and Rec episode where they, at the beginning of the episode, they're talking about how Pawnee, Indiana, is the 3rd most obese city in the country, and then you see Aziz turn to the camera and goes, "We're coming for you, San Antonio."
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, good times we're in. So,
Oh, yeah.
are you guys like reading anything? I mean, Katie,
Well, yeah.
I know you're so busy all the time that you always tell me you don't have time to read a whole lot. But is anybody reading anything? Joe, it sounds like you're reading like the best book in the world right now.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I have to admit, it's pretty good. And I just looked where my place is. Life of Pets is the next story for me.
No.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Cry. You're gonna
yeah,
cry, Joe.
I'm reading Flutter of Darkness right now, and then my next step will be to Mab's Doll series and Rebecca's series, who I've been waiting to read for a long time. And then eventually I'll get to Katie, and then I'll get to Katie and Jane's series. I have all of these are on my to be read list, so I've been waiting, and then I just added Stacy's because she did such a great reading for me for this episode that I'm going to be releasing over the weekend, hopefully tomorrow night.
Is it
Stacy Overbreed?
Her poetry book or her
No,
novel?
it was her military Black Ops book, Scars.
Okay.
It's the second book in the series, so I'll probably get both of them. I got the second one already, but I'll probably buy the first one too, just to see. But she says in the reading, she says you could read it as a standalone. So, which is and then somehow, some way, I'm gonna mix in the first two Nell Bentley books that I've been dying to read because I absolutely loved Strangers by V.S. Holmes. That was amazing.
I just bought the first one.
Nice.
I haven't read it yet, so I'm like, yes, I can finally read it. But then I got approved for a NetGalley for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab. So I was like, oh, well, I've got to read that too. So I've got reading going on now, which is nice.
It's cool. It's awesome. I'm getting routine down, which is really nice about what's going on now. Is I've been able to do work. I'm starting to get closer to being ahead for the first time in my entire Go Indie Now career. I'm almost ahead in videos to the point where I can actually read and write and do things that other things that interest me, and on top of everything else. So, and then on top of that, spend time with my wife, who is quarantined with me. But other than that, that's which I make time for that no matter what. But
Hey Richard, how's it going? Oh, all 3 Furies Press books are on sale on the website? What? I actually bought a copy of my own book from the website to ship to somebody else somewhere because I was like, I don't want to go to the post office. So
you didn't do the signed thing that they had?
What's that?
I did a thing where Rebecca had me sign it, and then you can buy like my signature in one of the books.
Yeah, but I couldn't find that option when I was ordering it, and I had already been on Ambien, so it was like, whatever happens, happens.
All of your best ideas.
I want to
happen
see
on
your Amazon shopping list when you're on Ambien.
Yeah, I know.
Why did I order the 15th back scratcher that I have all of a sudden?
Yeah, back scratchers. Those are good. That's good stuff. I love back scratchers. I could use a back. You know what? Let me get on Amazon real quick.
No, you can't, because go to Amazon. Non-essentials take at least a month to get now.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
What are non-essentials?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's kind of up in the air, but most everything, if you try and order on Amazon right now, is
Yeah,
out of stock.
so we talked about this on my show. I think it was either this week or last week's show about the idea that Amazon was screwing indie publishers because it was part of the non-essential list, and I found the list.
ACX is screwing everyone over too.
Well, I found the list on Publishers Weekly, and that's not the case. Indie books are on the list of essential items to be shipped. So
yeah, those still are shipping. What ACX is doing is, remember how we would get audio codes to get out, and we would get paid for those? Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Just kind of yanked that one out from.
No, ACX. I have a beef with ACX anyway, because my 7-year contract on a bunch of books ended, and I terminated that because it was a series with multiple people doing the series, and I don't want that anymore. So I terminated it, and that was in February. It's off all of the sales, but I can't put those books back up on ACX to get new people because they've never undone the live things in ACX. So I'm like, what? As it was, getting them to take it off or tell me that, it's at the end of the month we do this. Even if it's like the first day of the month that your 7-year contract is and you wanted to do it, we do it by the end of the month and we'll email you.
Well,
and I got my first email from them from a February 5th book on March 12th saying, we've taken it down. Nope. So I just sent them an email. I said, so after a 7-year contract, if I canceled it, does that mean I can never do it on ACX anymore for in the future if I wanted one person?
No, but you could change narrators if you wanted to.
You can go to Findaway Voices.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of people really like using Findaway Voices. So that
I'm stepping. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I may step away if they don't clear these up for me.
Well, and I'd love to get an idea from indies how well the audiobooks are moving, because everyone's saying audio is the way to go, but are the majority of indies seeing audio as lucrative as the ebooks? Because ebooks have always been the most lucrative for indies.
I think
it's about parallel.
Yeah, well, and I think it was going that direction. I think coming into this year, everybody was excited about audiobooks because Findaway Voices was saying they were going to lower their rates and also provide financial ways to get through it so that you could do it with them, which is basically they're going to show you how to do a Kickstarter is basically what that means. But so everybody was excited about that coming into this year, but I think this whole thing has thrown everything to askew. I think right now, if you're not concentrating on ebooks, you're doing yourself a disservice, because Kindles has been back ordered for from week 1 of this are now back ordered like 3 months because people are putting up all the Kindles to have something to use to read, and people don't realize you could actually download it on your computer. But whatever, if you don't want to read on your computer, I kind of understand that. But
or your phone, nobody really wants to do that. But
I have it on all three. I have it on my phone, I have it on my computer, and I have a Kindle. But I personally like my phone better, to be honest. Yeah. But that's what I've been reading Flutter on my phone. But I think ebooks is probably the thing that people should be concentrating on, at least during this quarantine session. Right. But I do think it's an opportunity for you to sit down and start developing in the audiobook. And that might be what a lot of people are doing. That's I've heard that's part of people's strategy is
Yeah,
maybe figuring out how to do it on their own, right? So
yeah. From
Here's
an income
another-
standpoint, it's about even with Amazon. Mine has been in the past, and sometimes the audiobooks have been more, even though the numbers are lower. The payout's been a little higher.
sure,
because the payout per audiobook is a lot better because it's more expensive.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, and you get a very, very small portion of it, but still.
Now, here's-
if they're not going to honor their contracts and do what they say, that's the problem. And I don't know how much long before 7 years ago they were in business, but now, now that I'm sitting here with books that are out of contract, I can't, at least on ACX, get somebody to do it. So it's very, very, very frustrating because
Yeah,
they've
but
got locked in as live and available. I'm like, it's not.
Well,
When
a
does that end?
lot of the audio producers have stopped doing the royalty deals because they're crap, So
Right.
I mean, even if you're stuck for 7 years, it doesn't hardly any of them make their money back. So they stopped doing. They've frowned upon. They've asked ACX to take it down. They've petitioned ACX to take it down.
See, and that's why the audio code is official, because it was at least a little bit of income back to the producer and the author, who, if you're doing a share like that, for getting the initial word out on the books.
Yeah.
Right.
And to remove that screws everybody over.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know what Amazon has been doing that kind of is screwing me over and pissing me off. And initially, it was an email I got from my boss.
I want to hear that too.
Well, I can't remember how Sonnets work, but I'll think about it, Julia. I will. But A Flutter of Darkness, the paperback is just not available on Amazon. You go to buy it, and they say it's out of stock. There's 0 copies left, and so people are getting a cancellation notice that they can't get it. You can buy it from a couple third-party sellers. Like there's 3 used and 2 new available for $26. Or you can get it off Three Furies website. But I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I asked Rebecca about this, and she doesn't know either. So it's like, I know that Lightning Source or whoever it is that does it has it, but
That's the thing. And I tell a lot of my clients when I work with them about this. You go through Ingram. Ingram is a party where Amazon doesn't have any incentive to promote your book up in the front of the list. If you go through Ingram and then also take that same ISBN because it's yours,
Right.
Amazon, and you basically print through both of them because they're not publishing you, they're printing you. Then you avoid that double that issue of not being in stock because you are in stock with Amazon because you're going through them directly, and also available third party. So what ends up happening, and this is one of the things that Jane and I went through, where if somebody buys the book from Amazon, they think they're buying it from Amazon, but they're actually getting it because Amazon was out of stock from a third party. Then the reporting tends to get a little funky, but you avoid ever being out of stock if you do both.
This is the crash of CreateSpace that created all this nonsense.
Yeah.
That's what happened. CreateSpace, when it crashed, they didn't give anybody any warning, any idea, and it just happened. I mean, there was subtleties that people were saying, okay, it's going to close, but everybody thought that was kind of like a wives' tale, like a myth, right? And then it just closed, and everybody's like, holy shit, it closed. What are we going to do now? And Amazon didn't have an answer. Amazon I think they wanted to reward third-party sellers more because they prefer to do the affiliate program with third-party sellers because third-party sellers then, pimp more Amazon. Obviously it makes sense on their end, but for the indie and the artist who don't make a single cent off of any of that,
Right.
they don't care. They're not willing to listen. They don't have an ear for that. They just have an ear for profit, and that's just the way it is. And I mean, it's their prerogative. It's their website. It's their business. But I just think I think in the end, because you have Drafted Digital, you have Ingram Spark, and they're all making strides and coming closer and closer to cracking the code. And then you're going to have bookstore.org, and you're going to have, and Smashwords is revamping their whole thing, and I mean, obviously Smashwords probably is on the tail end of all that. They're way behind, but everybody else with like D2D and Ingram Spark, they're gonna unseat Amazon at some point, even if it's collectively, and Amazon's gonna be wondering what the hell happened, right? Because you can't listen to the creators, you listen to the dollar, and that'll only get you so far. And I really feel that way. I think it's 20 years now, but still, ultimately somebody's going to come up with a better system to pay the creator, and the creator is going to be appreciative of that. And I think
this whole quarantine has made people more appreciate the artists out there, because a lot of the artists are who's entertaining everyone who's going stir crazy. Let me talk to Julie's point right here. She said the problem she found was that the quality of KDP printing was an issue. I have noticed that, and back in the CreateSpace days, there was similar printing issues. All of them have slightly different ink thicknesses or how the printers run. And I was finding a lot of times when I was doing certain fonts with books, they would print beautifully with one, and then if I would duplicate it and print it at a different printer, I would get almost unreadable light. So I had to change up all of the base fonts I was using for formatting, compensate for all of these print issues. And that changed how I had to look at doing formatting for clients going forward, because every single one is different. And you want it to be as similar as possible end result when people do use multiple platforms.
And people don't realize typesetting is an art form. It is something that you have to do to create. People don't understand that these are printed on 4 grids. And my dad worked in the printing press most of my life, so I got to actually clean rollers, summertime jobs and stuff. And so I kind of have an idea of how printing presses work. And I know that most of these are digital now, but still, even in the digital format, they have to do it by 4s. So you have to have blank pages. You have to have certain things where you have to divide it and make sure that it comes out even. And typesetting is a real pain if you don't know how to do it. And I think that also contributes to why books look bad, is because people don't understand the typesetting aspect of it.
And a lot of what I end up dealing with clients is customer education, to explain to them when they want certain things done, why I cannot make this happen in the exact way you want. There's only so much I can do to make this many words fit on this tiny little page you're giving me. So yeah, there's a lot of I'm doing a book for clients, because I've got to make sure that they understand what the limitations are between print and digital, because digital is a whole different beast. And people look at the print book and go, oh, I love this. And I go, okay, I can't get this exact same thing presented on a digital screen, because there's no actual page on your digital screen. You have reflowing text depending on if you're looking at a phone, looking at a computer screen or a tablet. It's going to look different on every device. And so there's of having to teach people as you do it.
Richard's point is really great. Richard's point back there, that's a really great point. But not only that, but Ingram takes the time to actually use 4 colors and 8 colors, and their DPI is better. So everything about Ingram is about quality for them, and so they quality check. And yeah, some things don't come out right because you have bleeds or whatever. That's just going to happen. But Ingram's covers, if you put an Ingram cover up against a CreateSpace cover, you can tell the difference almost instantaneously.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a very long time, and they know what they're doing. And of course, you get problems now and again. That the first batch I ordered in of Flutter, there was one that was damaged, but it looked like it was damaged when it was packaged and shipped, kind of thing. It wasn't a printing issue,
don't get me started on Amazon's shipping. Oh my God.
So inconsistent.
I got 6 packages when I ordered the book 1 our series, and by the time the rest of them came in, it was one big box with a few pieces of bubble wrap thrown in.
Oh my God.
It's ridiculous.
Oh,
So I have an important thing that I want to bring up here. Who has been watching The Tiger King?
The what now?
you're really on this thing.
Have none of you watched The Tiger King?
I won't do it. I can't watch
Joe.
something like that.
Joe. Let me just tell you, from someone who does not like watching things like that, my wife put it on because she loves those things. I was enthralled. It was like an out of body experience, and I couldn't stop myself from watching all of them. You have got to watch it.
I'm really happy for Dog. I'm really happy for Dog the Bounty Hunter now that he's found a new gig. But
well, you know the funny thing is, and the what she told me to finally sell me on sitting down with her to watch it is that my friend Rick actually owns a zoo in Florida in the Panhandle, and he knows some of these characters. Like, he's told me stories about hanging out with some of these people before. And so I'm watching this whole thing praying that I don't see him on here anywhere. And thank God I didn't see him on there, but holy shit, man, guys, you'll be so happy when you watch that. It'll make you feel so much better about everything in your
are
life.
the Trumps on it?
What's that?
Are the Trumps on it?
Trumps?
Yeah, are they in it at all?
No, they're sadly not in it. No.
I heard the Undertaker was a part of it, or he pimped for the guy once or something like that. He did a commercial for the guy once or something.
There was a famous wrestler guy, but I don't know anything about wrestlers, so I didn't.
So it was the Undertaker probably. His name's
Okay.
Mark Callis. He's a big, tall dude. Looks like a biker.
Maybe there was a lot of biker looking dudes in the show, man.
Yeah, in the wrestling world, he's getting a lot of heat for that right now. He's getting a lot of crap for and he's like one of the most well respected, incredibly gifted. He's 55 and he's still doing it.
Wow.
Which he's not doing it all that great, but he's still doing it. And he's probably one of the most well respected wrestlers in the history of all time wrestling, not just as a wrestler, but as a person and a backstage presence. He's been the glue that's held the locker room together and has been doing things like that for decades. And for people to find out that he's part of this, it was real shocking to a lot of people.
Well, I'll tell you what. No, I mean, because I'm sure you guys have seen memes, because there are many amazing memes. And some of the memes are about singing country songs. But I gotta tell you, the fucking Tiger King can sing. Holy shit! I mean, the songs are terrible, but you listen, you're like, oh my god, he's got a voice like a friggin' country angel. So it's something, man.
And he's trying to bring the mullet back, which I appreciate.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, and the unironic mullets that are happening these days. I
think it's like a pseudo reality show, right? It's kind of like a scripted reality show kind of thing, right?
Well, the thing is the Tiger King had hired somebody, a reality TV.
They were going to make a movie, producer. Right?
What's that?
They were going to make a movie about him or something like that?
I think that's what they were doing. It was a movie, a documentary, but so they end up using all of this footage in it. And so the footage is great because the guy is right there in the middle of all this shit. It is just some of the things that are said. You're like, wow, I didn't know that a human would actually say that where other people are listening. But yeah. Anyhow, guys, please just at least watch the first episode.
You just sold me. I might actually check it out.
Oh, Joe, you just.
After the second season of Russian Doll comes out, that's my only binge right now is Russian Doll. So I'm almost done with the first season, and the second season is supposed to be coming out here in like a couple weeks. So I'm excited about that. But that's a really great show. If anybody's never seen that, it's an incredible show. But
I haven't seen it.
Did you hear there was a rumor that Mulan was going to end up being streamed since it missed its release date?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of movies that are getting shelved right now, or talking about just VODing it. There's been talk that Wonder Woman may get a VOD because they don't know how long they can wait to release.
What does VOD mean?
Video on demand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Video on demand, like Birds of Prey and
Oh yeah,
Like,
my daughter's
Bloodshot.
There's that one movie. What's the one movie that Mike, help me out? You were talking about the other day. There was a movie that was supposed to come out. It was like a pseudo superhero movie.
Bloodshot.
Yes, thank you. And they went the VOD route. They decided to just
They
release
did.
it on.
All of the Wild went that way too, because that was
the new Onward. The movie went
What-
straight
Wild
to
Wild
streaming.
what, Katie?
Onward, that one went straight to streaming.
Oh yeah,
My
yeah.
kids like that one. Birds of Prey. My daughter was so happy that released because she loved that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do Birds of Prey or Bloodshot, next, because we did Call of the Wild because
So-
he's not a big superhero fan.
So
So
Russian Doll is a series about a girl who keeps reliving this night that she keeps having. It's Groundhog's Day with a very, very wicked twist.
okay,
And basically, she keeps reliving this night where she keeps dying, and she's
Yep.
trying to figure out how to not die. And every time, something else happens to make her die. And so it's all about her trying to live to the next day. And it becomes this mission. And there's some weird shit involved with it. And there's some funky stuff that happens that is not explained in the trailer or in what I'm talking about, because I don't want to give it away. But it's very, very intricate and very interesting. And I was actually turned on to it last night for the first time, and I watched 3 episodes back to back because I couldn't. I was like, wow, I gotta keep watching this. This is so cool.
Okay, awesome. No,
It's
that's
Natasha Lyonne, and it's Amy Poehler. And actually, what's ironic is the gal who created it. I actually interviewed her at Slam Dance for another thing she did at Slam Dance, but.
that's fun.
But her and Amy Poehler created the series with Natasha Lyonne, and Natasha Lyonne is the star. So
cool.
Hey, Joe, I've got, sorry, this is going to totally shift tracks here in just a second. I got to address Rebecca real quick. Rebecca, what is your husband trying to say to me? I don't know. She says, my husband is talking to you out loud. But what is he trying to say? She never followed up on this. I don't know. I feel really unfulfilled, Rebecca. That's not very nice.
I hope she has us on the TV because
yeah.
that's always fun.
Yeah, Rebecca, you got to take me to completion here with what he said.
while we're waiting for that, on the lines of what you were talking about, Katie, not only is the things that have already been put in the can being pushed back, but you have to think about the next phase of Marvel Universe not being able to film right now when they had this whole schedule laid out and DC too. All that they have, and Disney Plus, they have all these things that they've scheduled out to release at certain times. They're not going to be able to do it now because they're not doing the productions.
Right.
And here's a question that you might be able to answer, because a lot of the post-production work is where the time is involved, right?
Right.
If they've already gotten most of their shots done, post-production could still be working on, couldn't they?
Sure,
So
because
maybe
they can do it from home.
So their timeline may not be as back as we think it is, because a lot of work may have already been done, at least the film work. But what hasn't been, obviously, that's going to take a good 2-3 months.
I mean, could
Diana.
we do it
Hi,
from
Diana.
home? Because a lot of the shows are stopping because of post-production can't go into the offices.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you've got like all the daily shows and all the nightly, comedians doing everything from their home. Are still getting a lot of the extra stuff to with their webcam versions of themselves. So
Right.
there's a lot that can be done at home.
What are you doing to that train?
Just saying.
It's freaking
He's
me out.
playing up what Rebecca said to him.
I'm sorry.
Well, hey, Joe, this may be a dumb question, but my memory is shit. Do you know anything about documentaries?
Yeah.
Documentary filmmaking?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
Well, I need to know lots of stuff, much more than we want to talk about on Spilling Ink. But okay, I was just wondering. I mean, were you? Because I know you worked and did a little bit of work in film. What did you do?
I've only made narratives. I've never made a documentary. I've worked with people who've made documentaries. I've talked to people who've made documentaries. I know how they're made. I haven't had a subject that I wanted to cover for a documentary, so I haven't explored that world yet.
But what is your role? Are you kind of the producer? Are you behind a camera? What do you do?
I've done a lot of things. Most of the things I've done were my own things that I wrote, directed, and produced myself. And then I helped other people produce, like helped younger filmmakers produce some stuff when I lived in Denver for a while. And then when I came here, I did that for a bit. I've done script work where I've script doctored scripts, and like people send me versions of scripts and I rewrite them or rewrite certain spots of them or help people figure out where they're stuck, kind of thing, kind of like what an editor does for our books, which is ironic that I can't do that for my own book, but I can do that for somebody else's script.
Oh, here.
You
But,
always do it with somebody else's stuff.
Right, yeah, it's easier. I don't know why, but yeah, and I've worked as a script supervisor, which is the person who takes all the notes so that like when a scene stops at a certain point, I'll know exactly where the hand is, so that we can start the next scene with their hand in the same position, and because things aren't shot in sequence in film. So they have it's a continuity editor. Basically, I keep track of all the little things that make it so that we're not missing a beat when they edit it together.
Okay. Well,
and I've done editing too. So I of course I shoot. I produce all of my own shows and edit my own shows. So.
Yeah. But I'm gonna touch base with you at another time about a super secret project that I'm working on right now. That it might be a project that takes me a year, but I want to try to.
Most good ones do take a couple years. So.
Yeah, I'll try to get as much knowledge as I can going into it. But yeah, no, that's cool. No, I was actually hired as. Ooh, yeah.
I'm like, you gotta put that up there.
Only you, Rebecca. Only you. I have to worry about that.
I was actually hired as a paid extra for a 50 Cent film. The rapper 50 Cent. Mm-hmm. He made a movie where he was a college football player who was dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. And if you watch in some of these stadium football scenes, you'll see photographer with a big old lens moving around following him, and that was me.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
And you got paid for that.
Famous.
Yeah, I did get paid for that. Man, God dang, that was a long day too, man. When you're on set,
Yeah, that's the thing people don't realize is that these things are they're not done with a certain efficiency. They're done with malice and hatred most of the time.
Speaking of malice and hatred, how bad editing or reading for the next show?
Not bad at all. I found it pretty fluid. I obviously took out the parts where you guys stumble, which was a couple, but
amateur.
And like I was telling you off air, whenever Jane stumbled, you didn't stumble, and whenever you stumbled, Jane didn't stumble. So I was able to match it very easily.
We work well together.
We do. We work very well.
You guys did really well, and I did a couple of neat things that I hope you guys really like. But certain things where I matched the audio, and we'll leave it for a surprise for everybody. But I found it fun. I'm thinking about maybe I should ask more people to do stuff like this because it's really easy. But
we started it. We're like, should we read this? Should we practice? Nah, let's just do
it.
Go.
So I made her go first. So mine was actually a little.
Get halfway through it, and there's like a paragraph. I couldn't say it just to save my life. I couldn't say it. And I'm like, God damn it, Joe, please edit this.
What's funny is the reason I started doing this for this particular segment is because I started to really like whenever I listen to some, that's what got me Flutter. When Jason did his reading for Flutter, and I was putting the visuals to it, I was like, "Ooh, this is creepy. Ooh, this is creepy."
It was really good. I like that.
And I was like, "Ooh, I think I'm gonna really like this book." So and that's what I hope with other people is they can hear this and they understand why they should pick it up and why they like it. But
Well,
I don't know if that always translates. But from you always will get one sale because I will pretty much almost guarantee you buy the book after I listen to you read it. So
Thank you.
well, and it's
The
a lot
readings
of
are a good thing.
they
I don't.
are.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. I
You're
was just
fine.
going to say, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, LeVar Burton had put out a shout out that's trying to readings and didn't want copyright issues. And then Neil Gaiman immediately was like, no, you can have all my books.
that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I'm like for
And
children.
then that night you put out like 4 readings, and I was like, "Holy crap, LeVar, you're a machine, dude."
Yeah, he's an animal.
We all grew up reading Rainbow. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a god.
Yep. Well, and a lot of people are doing things like that, and not just celebrities, but I'm seeing a lot of authors just on my Facebook feed that are reading chapters out of their books. And
Yeah, Michael Evan has done a really good thing. He runs the fantasy and sci-fi. I don't know, society, I guess you call it. And he has a lot of authors under his thumb. He PAs for a lot of those authors, and he just gathers them up because he loves fantasy and sci-fi, and he's got them reading all weekend long. I think Anita's a part of that, if I'm not mistaken.
That's so cool.
But he every hour. I watched Andy Peliquins yesterday, and then somebody I just met on my show. I watched hers, E.G. Stone. I watched hers too.
thanks, Diane.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what he's doing. It's all weekend long too. So
That's awesome.
Mickey reached out to us. I don't know if you guys saw his email
Oh,
about trying to
yeah.
arrange a day-long thing. And I didn't to confirm or deny because it was a day full of recording, and I didn't know if we were going to be available for that kind of a thing. But it's
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
No, it's not.
have all his authors read on your show.
Cat. Stop it.
To have,
Oh.
to have all his authors read on your show, is something like that.
Yeah, like just a day-long readathon with all the authors. And that's a cool idea. It's just the logistic end of it has to be factored. It is, making sure connections all day, making sure that you can get people to log in.
And you have to. I will say this about reading that's super important for people out there who are looking at doing stuff like this. You have to set guidelines. You have to set a time limit. You have to set a period limit because people will take advantage of that and they'll read the longest chapter in the book that they could possibly read, or they'll read a short chapter and go, "Can I read a longer chapter because I read a short chapter?" I mean, there's all kinds of things that people try to do that, and I get it. Hey, you get an opportunity like this, you want to take advantage of it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, if for somebody who's going to do that every day, all day long, if I'm listening to a book and this guy's reading a 50-page chapter, and then the next guy reads a 4-page chapter, and then the next guy reads a 50-page, that's a long day, for a viewer. I don't know. I would tune in for that,
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, and it's so much time to fill, and it's not so much time to fill for the guests because he wants to have a lot of his guests on. But there are only 3 of us,
Right.
and I think he was talking about doing like a 8 or 10 hour day, and I'm like, that's a huge time commitment, and I think it would be really cool, but we would. Not only would we be having to tag team it, one host at a time so that people are getting breaks, but I think that we need a couple more of us just to make it work. Otherwise, it's like, I don't know that I have enough hours in the day to be able to do that. But I do like the idea, I think that I would love to set up, if he wanted to do something, or if Mickey's clients want to do something where, even if we did something every evening, we have someone on to read a chapter or 2 of their book and talk about it for 10 minutes. And then that's it. And then the next day it's somebody new. But
that's what was so cool about The Raven. The Raven was that exact thing. I loved that idea. I loved the idea. And I would imagine you have to tell people that you only have a certain amount of time to read, and because we're going to talk afterwards, right? So
yes. And actually everyone was really good about that. I just told people 5 to 10 minutes.
Once you tell people there's a parameter, people are usually really good about it.
Yeah.
And even if they go over, they go, "Hey, I went a little over, but feel free to edit if you want." And usually if they tell me that, I'll usually keep it in a little bit longer. But that's the trick. Everybody whoever's going to read for me, if you do that, there I just gave away his trade secret. But because I think that's, I mean, if you're going to be polite about it and be nice about it, I'm going to totally help you out. But
Yeah.
but I mean, I've had like people give me like a full chapter read, which is like 30 minutes long, and I go, dude, I have to cut this. I'm sorry. And they're like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I figured you would just take the best 5 minutes you want out of it. It's smart. People are cool about that. Nobody's given me grief about it yet. So
Well, and when you're doing because I consider your shows, Joe, to be highly produced shows.
yeah,
When you're doing your setups, and I really love that. But I think that what many viewers and listeners don't realize, and they don't have to, is the incredible amount of work that goes into creating a highly produced show.
Sure.
I recorded a show yesterday morning or the morning before. That's the reason I hardwired my computer this time. And everything went beautifully. Connection was perfect. And I went back to watch through and do some minor edits, and my connection was so bad that you couldn't hear me. So I had to go back and fucking voiceover myself over this.
Luckily, it was you, though, and not the guest. That's a luck. You lucked out on that one.
Yeah. I mean, if it had been the guest, the whole thing would have been totally shot, and I'd be like, well, it goes in the trash. But it's sometimes you see these shows that we produce for you because we want to entertain you or educate you, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And like, man, somebody spent hours and hours and hours doing that for you to make it look like that, Especially Joe, because your shows are always so great.
Thanks.
Yeah, Mike just said,
sorry.
Mike said, I'm lousy reading aloud. Well, Mike, the first time I had to do something for Joe for Beneath, I did it. It took me 50 takes before I was satisfied with it, because I'd start and I'd mess up the intro and I'd swear like a sailor, and then I'd start it again. 50 some takes.
I'd like to have some of those takes if you
Oh
want.
no,
Yes.
I love them.
Let me tell you, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, right? And I do segments on the show where I talk and things like that, and I'm always doing multiple takes. It's just it's the perfectionist in me, or I don't know what you call it, but it's the idea that I just want to do it right, and it never comes out perfectly. So, and I don't want to splice it together. I hate when I have to splice it together. That's when I go. And at some point I do that because I go, fuck it, I'm not going to spend any more time on this than I need to, right? I mean, but
I was blown away that I did it so well after Katie. I was like, when I finished, I'm like, holy crap, what a take.
No, Mickey's
over. She's like, no.
Mickey's here. He says he's so sorry, everyone. Mickey, I think we definitely should do something, Mickey. I don't think the whole solid day will practically work, but I think we should do something where we just stack them on top of each other throughout the week and just get a lot of content for people every night. I think that'd be cool. But I just wanted to address Mickey. We're not trying to pick on you. We're just trying to work this out in our heads.
Yeah. And I'm used to live TV like this, and I used to work in it, not in front of the camera, but I used to work in a newsroom. So, and I have, done the microphone and had to edit that stuff. That was way back when I was younger.
Although
I have
noticed,
the appreciation of both.
Have noticed though that doing these live shows as often as you have, that your ratio has gone way down.
Sure,
you naturally filter out the weird pauses. No?
Sometimes, yes.
My whole family, my even my wife and my kids mock my podcaster voice. I've been told I have a really nice voice, but then they're like, "Oh yes, we'll just talk nice and slow like this." I'm like, "Oh, come on, guys! I just want people to understand me, Jerks.
No one could understand me.
I personally think for you, that's what makes your stuff really great. Like the Raven, when you were doing the, "Hi everybody, this is Jason Lavelle, and you're listening to the Raven," and I'm like, whoa,
Take that, family. Oh goodness,
No,
goodness.
it's cool. I like the you know you have a face for radio and a voice for loving. So
I like what? Oh goodness, guys! You remember when you did the show in the middle of the night last night, and I came on with no clothes on? Oh,
That
good
was
times.
just a dream. It was just a dream. Don't look at our
It
channel.
wasn't real.
Oh my lord, man! You guys are crazy. Authors are crazy.
I did notice you guys did really good numbers on that show. So I'm like thinking to myself, am I missing out on a midnight crowd or what?
We might have to do some more regular, just night with or something. Maybe we'll do a collaboration, Joe.
Thank you, Regine. I appreciate that. Yeah, my family just sucks. That's all it is. They just really suck.
No, Jason, you have a good voice. I still want to get you to be the narrator for my asset series.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
you should be doing more of that for sure.
We had a team set up, and then
I mean, you have this. Not only do you have the voice, but you have the setup there. You've got a nice setup. You've got a great acoustic there.
it's so much work.
Guys. He's having fun going, oh, I don't need this pressure.
It's so much work.
It is a lot of work.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's another thing that people don't realize about audiobooks is for every hour that they're speaking, they're really speaking 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, and people don't realize that that's what it takes to make these things. These things are a lot of construction. There's controlling. There's exercises you have to do to control your breathing and your voicing. And I mean, for real strong podcasters and for really good audio narrators, that is a craft and it's something that they have to do, right? So
Well,
people don't realize
it's
how much
all about that
that is.
control.
Yeah, my favorite narrator is booked until I think August this year. So she's going to do Winter's Heart in August. I said, I will wait for you because you're that good.
A good narrator is so worth it. I'm loving the lady that I'm working with for the Little Werewolf series. Brain fart for a second there. Her voices are great, and she really gives each one individual, personality to it. And apparently, I'm one of her easy clients because I love everything that she's done so far. So I haven't any pickiness at all. I've been like, yes, this is good. Go with it.
Yeah, and I know how to review books because doing film editing, you have to write down where the error is, length of it and everything. So all of that stuff that I did years ago, I'm like, okay, here's where the mistake is. This is where you did it. This is what it should say. And I send it back, and she's like, oh my God, I love you. not a random in chapter 5. You say this.
Oh no, timestamp.
Yep.
Oh.
Hey,
Hey, Rebecca.
Big thing for audio people. If you're
Hey,
doing
same
reviews of
thing.
books, do the
Oh my
timestamp if there are errors.
Yeah.
The same thing for formatting. If somebody goes in chapter 3, there's a period. I'm like, where? Give me a page number. Give me a sentence.
Right.
Just tell me random. I'll never find it.
Exactly.
Hey, Rebecca, post a line or two from one of those stories you were just talking about, and I'll read it for you in a minute. But yes, that reviewing an audiobook, you've got to be really smart about that, because otherwise your producer has no idea what the hell is going on at all. But so yeah, using those timestamps, learning the language so you actually know how to speak with them a little bit. But
yeah, I'll be the first to admit it. I was a dick to my narrator for Amongst the Killing. I was a real pain in the ass, and I never thought I was one of those guys, but I turned out to be one of those guys with the narrator, and he kept going. He was so accommodating. He was so gracious about everything. And then at some point he put his foot down and said, "You got to stop. You got to stop giving me changes. You got to stop giving me edits. This is bullshit. You're just scared. Let me do my thing. I promise I'll take care of you." And when he said that, I stopped, and yeah, I'm very, very happy with the way it came out. So
that's good. That's good. It's tough to let go of control like that, because and
it's the exact reason, everybody always asks me, because I am so ingrained in film, everybody asks me when am I going to make my book into a movie, and this is the exact reason why I will never make it into a movie, because I'm going to have to give up control to somebody. And the story was that in my head, and I got it out of my head. I don't need to get back into that headspace ever again. Somebody else can take it and run with it and can do whatever they want to it, and I'm okay with that. As long as you pay me, I'm good. Just give me some money, I'm good. You can take it and run with it, but I will never make my book into a movie, and any of my books, because you don't. The other thing that people don't realize is how much time it really takes to make these things come out of your head and make them onto the page, right? And I mean, we all understand that, but it becomes this labor of love that if I was going to do that story as a movie, I would have made it as a movie. I wouldn't have done it as a book. But I feel like novels are novels and movies are movies. So.
Yeah. And people think that writing takes a long time. Making a single scene, a single 5-second sequence of film is an incredible amount of labor.
How long did you spend on your trailer, which is probably, 90 seconds?
Probably 3 months.
Yeah.
But,
fantastic. And it shows. It's fantastic.
Well, and I am definitely not. Oh, wait, hang on. I've got to do a reading here for Rebecca. But and I am just an amateur guy working on my little computer. But I had so much fun with it. Okay, all right. This is from one of the books from Rebecca's Mandy series. It was some time before either one of them was ready to move. When Kurt did roll off to lay beside her, Mandy felt suddenly cold. She rolled over with him and snuggled up on his chest. He wrapped his arms around her and held her tight. I'm sorry I got so rough with you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm not sure what came over me. Mandy laughed and ran her hand up his chest to his shoulder. I'm the one that should be apologizing. You're bleeding. That's it. That was the whole thing.
I also
On that note,
you just read that. You read that on the fly. I bet you if you had absorbed it and taken time with it, it would have been a lot dirtier. Which is what I think Rebecca was hoping for.
Yes, I'm sure it was. Well, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that is no. Rebecca's still sending more. It's not going to happen, lady. You better go talk to your husband about that. Well, it has been a lovely hour chatting with some of my favorite people here, and I am talking about you, Mr. Joe Compton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, chopped liver?
Wait, what? Is it?
There's other people here, Jason. What did that happen?
The hell?
Is there anything that anybody wants to plug before we go? I mean, I've got my book, A Flutter of Darkness, out, available from Three Furies Press. 15 Dark Tales.
I'll plug my books, I guess.
Yeah, do it.
And we do more majority crime thrillers if anybody's interested. Also, immediately following here, we're migrating over to my channel and doing Joe's Bar. Everybody's welcome to hang out. We're going to go until we can't go no more. So, come over and hang out. And if you feel like you got to go take a nap and then come back, we'll probably still be there. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But, come over to our channel and check that out. Go Indie Now. So.
Spindle comes out this week.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Evan's book in the Fractured Fairy Tale series, and then in mid-March we had the trilogy set of Beneath, Between, and Beyond come out. So
That was such a fun series.
it was, I want to
That
write
was a good. We have to write something. We need to. I want to find how we can merge the act world in there, because I'm like really into that headspace right now.
Well, I sent you that cover that could go with the werewolf series. Don't you remember that?
Was that the cover that I said I had originally wanted?
Yes.
Yeah, we got to make that work.
Yep.
She always finds the best covers. Cover fiction. And she bought a cover that I had looked at a while ago and was debating just buy and hold on to. And when
I
I
got it
thought,
there.
oh my God, that's the cover, I want it. And she's like, we could use it for a co-authored piece.
I love it.
I'm so bad that way.
You guys are such a good team. Devil and devil's advocate.
Which one?
Oh, we know who the
I'm
devil
the advocate, right? I'm the advocate.
No.
is. Well, before we sign off, guys, I do want to ask you, how was my connection tonight?
It was very
Good.
good.
It was good? Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
I didn't have any weird lag stuff going on.
I don't think so.
No.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. I said I am hardwired in, which is really weird. And speaking of not doing things right the first time, somebody said that earlier. Look up at the ceiling.
Joe, the ceiling.
Yes, you'll notice there's actually 2 holes. Since the first one didn't go where I thought it was going to go. But I did get it in the end.
I had to be on this show for a reason, and now it just came true. I now have finally seen the ceiling, and I now know you're looking at nothing.
Well, there's also, you see right behind the laptop here. There's also that screen. Sometimes I have Facebook on there.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Creative Edge for sponsoring this show, making it happen. And thank you for everyone who's been commenting. Really, you guys make it so much more fun because we can laugh at everything you're saying. So until next week, or if we set something up with Mickey to do a bunch of readings, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside. See you later.
Take it easy.